Cox from the Detective Bureau, who will be able to answer some limited questions about the investigation, and Chief Kathy O'Reilly, Chief of the Transit Bureau. So, Police Commissioner Sewell.
Good afternoon, and thank you for coming. I'm Police Commissioner Keyshawn Sewell. Joining me today is the Mayor Eric Adams, Jano Lieber from the MTA, Edward Galan, First Deputy Commissioner, Kathleen O'Reilly, my Chief of Transit, Assistant Chief Jason Wilcox of the Detective Bureau. I want to remind you that this information is preliminary. This case is ongoing. Earlier today at approximately 9:30 in the morning, uniformed officers who were patrolling the mezzanine area of the 42nd Street Times Square train station were alerted by train passengers that a male had just pushed a woman onto the southbound Q train tracks. Upon arrival at the scene, officers discovered a female under the train with severe trauma to her body. EMS responded and pronounced the victim deceased at scene. An investigation revealed that a woman was standing on the southbound RQ train platform when she was suddenly pushed onto the train tracks as she was standing waiting for the train. This incident was unprovoked, and the victim does not appear to have had any interaction with the subject. After the incident, the subject fled the scene, but turned himself into Transit District 2 a short time later. The identity of the deceased is being withheld, pending proper notification to her family. What I can provide to you now is that she is a 40-year-old female who is a New York City resident. This was a senseless, absolutely senseless act of violence. Our investigators are actively investigating this crime, and our uniformed officers will remain vigilant throughout the subway system. I'll turn it over to Mayor Adams for his comments.
Thank you, Commissioner. A life is lost in this city. A woman lost her life due to a senseless act of violence. And when you look at this incident, it really highlights why the Commissioner and I rolled out a very significant plan of dealing with, one, crime in our system, but also the mental health crises that we are facing. The Chief of Transit Police actively implemented that plan, and we're going to continue to grow that plan. But we need help from the outside as well. There is a law called Kendra's Law. Far too often, judges are reluctant to institute that law. Those who cannot take care of themselves being obligated to receive the proper medical treatment that they need so we won't create a dangerous environment. We want to continue to highlight that, how imperative it is that people receive the right mental health services, particularly on our subway system. To lose a New Yorker in this fashion would only continue to elevate the fears of individuals not using our subway system. Our recovery is dependent on public safety in this city and in the subway system. We can do that with the right balance, a balance of safety and a balance of proactively giving people the assistance that they need when they're in mental health crisis. We're going to do our part, but we're asking all of our partners to join us in ensuring that we can have a safe subway system. Our hearts goes out to the families who were impacted. It's a traumatic experience to enter this system with the hope of reaching your destination, only to come to the conclusion that your loved one lost his or her life due to a tragic moment such as this. We're going to continue to do everything that's possible to make our subway system safe. But again, we're calling on all of our partners, from lawmakers to law enforcement, to DAs, to judges, to ensure those who need mental health assistance receive that. That is how we're going to ensure that not only our streets, above ground and below ground, are safe places for New Yorkers.
Thank you, Commissioner Sewell, and thank you, Mayor Adams. Thank you for your leadership in addressing this very, very serious problem New York is facing. This is a sad day. A New Yorker was going about her business right in the heart of our city, in the heart of our subway system in Times Square, and she lost her life. This is unconscionable. This is unacceptable. It has to stop, as the mayor said. This is not the first time this has happened. There have been some of these high-profile subway pushings in the latter half even of 2021. New Yorkers are coming back. They're emerging from the pandemic. They need the subways to go back to work, to go to appointments, to get to school, to visit with loved ones. This is how New York works. But they're not coming back if they're not comfortable using the subway. And they shouldn't have to worry about somebody attacking them, somebody with mental health issues, God forbid, murdering them. New Yorkers need a safe system, period, end. We need to have an aggressive program of action to deal with people who may be experiencing mental health issues, as the mayor has highlighted just now. I am thrilled that the mayor and the governor called out this issue, even in the last week, and that they have initiated actions to provide additional mental health and homeless services to people who need them in the subways. We're grateful to the governor for her leadership, for recognizing that specific issue. Again, people with mental health issues in the system. And to Mayor Adams for joining and leading, as I said, in the first week of his term. The police commissioner is, as she pointed out and was pointed out, deploying more police officers onto platforms, onto trains, coming from the topside deployments into the subway systems. And we are tremendously encouraged by that. Incidents like that, incident we had today, demonstrate how critical these strategies are to protecting New Yorkers and to reassuring them as they come back to normal life. But we're going to need to make progress quickly. We need to make progress quickly. We need action. It's underway under the leadership of this governor and this mayor. It's up to all of us in government to solve the problem. We're not telling New Yorkers it's your problem to avoid this risk. We have to solve it. That is underway. Thank you, Governor Hochul. Thank you, Mayor Adams.
All right, we can take some limited questions. Carol?
So who is the person who turned himself in? Would you describe him as deranged? Was he off his meds? What do we say about him?
That's Assistant Chief Jason Wilcox, Detective Bureau.
Good afternoon, everyone. So, just to reiterate what the police commissioner said, quick timeline of events. About 9:31 this morning, we have our person of interest on video on the platform downstairs. At about 9:39 hours, we know approximately that our victim is pushed in front of the train. Between that gap of 9:31 and 9:39, there's another encounter that our person of interest has with another female rider who is not Asian. He approaches her, he gets in her space, she gets very raised up, very alarmed. She tries to move away from him, and he gets close to her, and she feels that he was about to physically push her onto the train. As she's walking away, she witnesses the crime where he pushes our other victim in front of the train. This witness, we had this witness, she reports it to us at a later time and place. So that's what happened about 9:39 hours. Subsequent to that, about right before 10 a.m., about 9:53 a.m., a male walks into Transit District 2 on Canal Street and reports to the officers inside that he had pushed a woman in front of the train. He's immediately stopped and taken into custody. That male has been subsequently brought to the Midtown South Detective Squad, where an active investigation is still unfolding with detectives from Manhattan South, Midtown South, Manhattan Transit, and obviously many other investigators and investigators of more resources are being put into this case. So that's where we are right now. So we're working very closely with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. At this time, charges are pending. So that's kind of where we are at the moment.
Would you describe him as deranged or off his meds, or how would you, because everybody's talking about mental health.
No, well, he's a male, he's an adult. He does have a background, he is known to us. So we do have experience with him, he's known to the criminal justice system. But in terms of anything other than that, he does have, in the past, 3 emotionally disturbed encounters with us that we have documented. But anything beyond that is still being investigated.
New administration, we recognize that this is something that many of our constituents and New Yorkers all over the city care about. I really want to thank and acknowledge Mayor Adams and his team for recognizing the importance of ensuring that our most vulnerable New Yorkers have the wraparound services that they need, from social services to mental health programs. A few months ago, we passed legislation in Congress, the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. We are still pushing and waiting for implementation of this law because it will provide more resources for us here in New York to provide and to strengthen some of these services on the ground for people in our communities. We also want to make sure that we are working continuously to combat discrimination against anyone and everyone, and that includes the AAPI community. Too often, Asian Americans are seen as foreigners and people who are not truly American, and so we want to make sure that we are standing as a city against all discrimination. This has been a really tough year and a half for the Asian American community, but specifically in the last few weeks, we have seen attacks on a Sikh American cab driver, a Korean American man who was trying to be a good Samaritan and was attacked, a Korean American elderly woman in my district in Forest Hills just less than 36 hours ago, and today this Asian American woman victim. So I really wanted to thank the mayor for being in constant touch with all of us and our community groups, and also to my colleagues, some of whom are here today, Senator John Liu, Senator Hoylman, Assemblymember Ron Kim, Council members Chris Marte, Julie Wan, Linda Lee, and Sandra Ong, and I apologize if I left anyone out. Thank you.
Thank you.
I echo what the Commissioner and the Mayor have said in terms of our partnership, working together, the District Attorney's Office and NYPD. Not going to go into potential charges, but New Yorkers deserve to be and must feel safe on the subway. This is a top priority matter for my office. We're working hand in hand with NYPD.
Do we have to worry that he's going to walk out of jail overnight?
No.
Mayor, I just have a question. You mentioned that, this previous plan that you put it forth recently. So what's your message to New Yorkers today? Are we upping this now after this incident, or are you just going to continue to enforce what was in?
We're going to continue to move forward with our plan. We're going to enhance our plan when it's needed. And as the chief just shared with me, this subject was only in this station for 9 minutes. Part of our plan is to be proactive and observe when someone is acting irrationally and reach out to our partners and notify them so we can come to the stations.
Hi, we're here with Eric Adams and other elected officials because of the horrific accident that happened at Times Square where someone who had mental issues went and pushed around 40-year-old Asian woman into the tracks. Eric Adams stated that, the system is safe and this is just an accident that happened. Right now we don't have clear information of who the individual was or the lady was as well, the victim, but we will know soon. But I think the most important thing is that all the elected officials here were united to address the problem and create steps moving forward to make sure that the perception that our subway system is safe is heard throughout the city. And so I was glad to be here with the mayor and his team.